I will now express T as a large definition of infinity. My very best quality work is T as a large definition of infinity. I'm a world changer, feminist, heterosexual and biological son of God. I'm one of the best trusted advisors here on planet Earth, and with my strategies and ideas and big ideas, most definitely getting results. And with my two main friends being Sanna Marin, former Prime Minister of Finland, and I also am good friends with Lily, the chair of the Council of the New World Order from the furthermost infinity universe into the far future. So Sanna Marin has been my good friend for many years, I suppose I'm saying. I really wouldn't be the huge success I've become if it wasn't for the very good help of Sanna Marin, my very good friend, who is a former Prime Minister of Finland. Sanna Marin also is a hyper-evolved time to the far future with perfect genetics, I suppose. She really is a very, very highly respectable person who also is the very best mom in the known world, I suppose. So she really is a off the scales impressive person who I do have the highest respect for, because she's just she has perfect genetics and she's a very good person. And with Lily being my true love, I suppose, so I really do have a huge amount of respect and love for Lily, I suppose, who is my true love. So it's an honour to have such good friends, I suppose. I do enjoy working reasonably hard to honour my powerful friends with my work, I suppose, because their friendship means the world to me. Love always. And with 25 years ago, in the second half of the year 2000, I was a reasonably impressive intelligence community professional working for former President Bill Clinton. And former President Bill Clinton was so impressed with me and my work that he wanted to award me a presidential rank award, that is for intelligence. However, my intelligence community handler advised me to go via CIA. That's, I suppose, when I had a Alpha Black current security clearance with Central Intelligence Agency, and back then I also had an Alpha Black current security clearance with New World Order. So I then, so my intelligence community handler advised me to go. So back then, former President Bill Clinton was very impressed with my work, and he wanted to award me a presidential rank award for intelligence. However, my intelligence community handler advised me to go via CIA. So back then, I was awarded a CIA Intelligence Award of similar merit to a presidential rank award. I was awarded this in an auditorium at Langley in a CIA award ceremony. And the bloke who announced the award, so he mentioned they usually award an award of such merit to someone who has more experience. Because back then I had a little bit less than 6 months experience. However, he told the audience in the auditorium that they decided to make an exception for me because of the quality and significance of my work. So I then was awarded a CIA Intelligence Award of similar merit to a presidential rank award in an auditorium at an award ceremony at Langley towards the end of the year 2000, near the very end of the year 2000, I suppose, pretty close to the end of the year 2000, I suppose. In response, I was awarded my work in the second half of the year 2000 as doing it as an intelligence professional for former President Bill Clinton. That's former President Bill Clinton, 42nd President of America, when he was president. That's in the second half of the year 2000. And that was the biggest award that I'd earned then by a long way. However, I've come a long way since my humble years back then, because I've now been essential for the creation, for the forming of the last 8 New World Orders. I work reasonably hard, and with my strategies and ideas and big ideas, most definitely getting results. I'm a world changer, and my friends, their friendship means a lot to me. So I have a few good mates, I suppose, and the friendship of my friends really does mean the world to me. I'm very fortunate to have a few good mates. Now, there also was the Harvard happiness study, I suppose, which is over something like 75 years, I suppose, which tracked a lot of people, I suppose. Now, they found that the people who are the happiest don't necessarily have the most friends, but they do have high quality friends. So it's important to have a few good mates if you want to be happy. I do feel reasonably happy, I suppose. So I work hard doing my best work each day in projects that matter as a good and loyal friend with good intentions and a big heart, as I work hard while working within a high frequency emotional state of enlightenment, or a high frequency emotional state of happiness, I suppose, of love, I suppose, as a good and loyal friend with good intentions, big heart, because it's so important to keep a high frequency as we do our best work each day in projects that matter. And with this video article now being an article about criminal justice reform and also strategies to help improve counter-terrorism operations. So we'll start with criminal justice reform. So when it comes to criminal justice, so historically it's been very hard to solve crimes, I suppose, because it's just hard to track down the criminal, I suppose. However, this is all going to change because with my strategy now, because I do think that a great way to solve crimes can be for people who work in law enforcement to be using their New World Order mobile telephone from the far future, I suppose, as a way to be able to be calling themselves into the past from the present, that's in the future, when when there's a crime, I suppose, for people from law enforcement to call themselves into the past before the crime occurred, after they know what happened and who committed the crime and where the crime happened, what time and date it was, I suppose, as a way to then be having law enforcement to be sending enough security to the location as a way to be able to catch the criminals red-handed, I suppose, because we most definitely don't want for there to be any more crimes ever. I mean, obviously, probably organised crime and corruption in government may be beyond the scope of this, I suppose. However, I do think for pretty much everyone, I suppose, other than organised crime and corruption in government, I suppose I'm saying, pretty much everyone will be able to so it would possibly even be having a advertisement by the government, which I suppose could go something like, we're tough on crime. If you commit a crime, you'll be caught. Because you will be, I suppose, because with this strategy of having law enforcement call themselves into the past after any crime's been committed, well then, if you ever commit a crime, you'll be caught and go to jail. It's just that simple. And even for unsolved crimes like missing person crimes, I suppose, well, you could possibly even be getting involved witches from witch covens and wizards from wizardry guilds, and also special ability professionals from special ability universities, and to be having them work with law enforcement to be able to use their special abilities to solve missing person crime. They'd possibly be travelling to the house of the person who committed the crime, the person who went missing, I suppose, and walking through their room, I suppose, is a way to access their past and their future, I suppose, and then learning who committed the crime, and sending law enforcement into the past from the present to where the crime occurred, and then to arrest the person who committed the crime, and ideally to even try to find a way to save them, I suppose, via possibly even, or even I suppose, when they, if they were to go missing, I suppose, you could possibly even be having law enforcement even call them into the past from the present to just before they went missing, and to possibly to tell them what's going to happen, I suppose, and to have them be very careful, and possibly even have to have security, I suppose, to give them good security, and to call them just before they went missing, so they won't go missing, I suppose, because there is a reasonably wise and sensible way to solve all problems. I do think by getting witches from witchcraft covens, wizards from wizardry guilds, specialty professionals from specialty universities, and also using New World Order mobile telephones from the far future, which most people in the New World Order have, I suppose, as a way to be able to call themselves into the past from the present, call themselves throughout the present, call themselves into the future from the present, because they're able to have their calendar app on their smartphone hooked up to their mobile telephone app, I suppose. They're able to then access their calendar app from their telephone app, I suppose, and in doing so choose the date and time of the call and call that time, which can be either into the past from the present or into the future from the present. 2 thumbs up, because I very much loved the excellent films Before Sunrise and Before Sunset with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. In those films, I suppose, well, on the front cover of the dual feature, I suppose, it had the quote 2 thumbs up as a way of promoting how good the film was, because it really were very impressive films, I suppose. So Ethan Hawke was a writer, I suppose I'm saying, and I very much loved Before Sunrise and Before Sunset. So I'm a world changer, feminist, heterosexual, and biological son of God. Now, also I'm a writer too, so I work reasonably hard generating strategies and ideas and big ideas as a world changer and writer and trusted advisor, as I work hard to help my powerful friends, because my powerful friends are most definitely worth it. Love always. Find you worth it. Love always. So now on to, so I do think that this strategy can be created pretty much immediately, I suppose. We can possibly even be having this new strategy for criminal justice reform being started now, I suppose I'm saying, whereby for any crimes committed now, I suppose, or even in the past week, I suppose, any crimes, you can be having law enforcement call themselves into the past from the present, I suppose, as a way to learn who committed the crime, and then after it's been committed, I suppose, then sending security to the location and date and time of the crime to arrest those responsible for the crime, I suppose, as a way of meaning, I suppose, that there can pretty much be no more crimes ever, I suppose, or pretty much if you ever do commit a crime, you'll be arrested and go to jail, which is a good way for it to be, I suppose. It's a way of creating a better reality, I suppose. And clean the streets, I suppose, is a way to be doing this, I suppose, from if you commit a crime, you'll be arrested and go to jail. Just that simple, being very hard on crime. It's a way to have the DOJ, Department of Justice, I suppose, be able to be tough on crime, I suppose. If you ever commit a crime, well, all crimes will be solved and those who committed the crime will go to jail. Simple as that. Now on to my strategy for counterterrorism strategy, I suppose. And it also is pretty similar, I suppose. So if there ever was a terrorist attack, I suppose, you could easily be having those from counterterrorism to call themselves into the past from after terrorist attacks occurred, I suppose, and to then use the intelligence of who committed the crime, what the location of the terrorist attack was, what the location was of the people who were involved, I suppose, where they lived, I suppose, and then to be tasking for law enforcement to have them under very close surveillance, I suppose. And as soon as the bombs have been built, I suppose, you then have law enforcement move in and arrest them, I suppose, as a way to ensure that there won't be any more terrorist attacks ever, I suppose, because you're able to use a similar strategy for law enforcement. You're able to have powerful intelligence community professionals, I suppose, from counterterrorism, I suppose, to be using the New World Order mobile phone as a way to be able to call people, call themselves into the past from their present, using the New World Order telephone, I suppose, as a way of ensuring that there won't be any more terrorist attacks ever, I suppose, because if there ever was, counter-terrorism will be able to then find out what happened, find out who was involved, have law enforcement monitor them, I suppose, have under surveillance, I suppose, and then as soon as the bombs have been built, you then have law enforcement move in, make the arrests, I suppose, as a way of preventing there ever being any more terrorist attacks ever, I suppose. So I do think that these two ideas are reasonably high level and will be very important for the future, I suppose, as a way of creating systems to create criminal justice reform, I suppose, so that if you ever commit a crime, you'll be arrested and go to jail, and also as a way to be solving all missing person crimes or unsolved crimes, because solving a missing person unsolved crime now is kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, and very hard to solve, I suppose I'm saying. But with the use of witches from witchcraft covens, wizards from wizardry guilds, and specialist professionals from specialist universities, I suppose, you'll then be able to use those professionals, I suppose, to be able to create a far better future, I suppose, for society, I suppose, and planet Earth, I suppose, from moving to have a very strong focus on solving crimes, I suppose, so that if you ever commit a crime, you'll be able to we go to jail for sure, I suppose, with probability of one, I suppose, and possibly even for the missing person crimes, you may even be able to call yourself before the person went missing, I suppose, and to have law enforcement give them good security, I suppose, as a way of keeping them from going missing, I suppose, as a way of keeping them with their loved ones, I suppose. So it could be a very important way, I suppose, to either arrest those who did the crime and bring justice, I suppose, to be able to bring closure to the families who had the person they loved went missing, I suppose, or even better still, try to find a way to prevent them from even going missing in the first place by calling them into your past from the present, telling them what happened, and giving them security, I suppose, as a way to protect them from going missing, I suppose, once we know what happens from the future intelligence, I suppose I'm saying, from calling them from the future, or from the or for instance, all current missing person cases can be called from the present now, I suppose, into the past, from before they went missing, I suppose, to give them security as a way to protect them, because we do want to be good and loyal and loving friends who work hard to protect society, I suppose. I do think that this strategy and my counterterrorism strategy can be a great way, I suppose, to be creating a better future within society, I suppose, from getting the conditions right for success, I suppose, so that that people, I suppose, know, I suppose, that if they commit a crime, they'll be going to jail, I suppose, as a way of creating a very, very powerful deterrent, so that if people think about contemplating committing a crime or getting involved in a terrorist attack, they won't, because of the very powerful deterrent of, if they do commit a crime or get involved in a terrorist attack, they'll be arrested, I suppose, and go to jail for a very long time, I suppose. So I do think this can be a great way to create a far better society here on planet Earth, I suppose, so that good and honourable citizens of society are able to live with much more peace and security, knowing full well that people won't want to be committing crimes and won't want to be getting involved in terrorist attacks, because it would be a no-brainer that they'll be most definitely being caught, I suppose, go to jail, I suppose. They wouldn't do it, I suppose. So it's so important to get the conditions right for success, to create a better society, create a better future. I do deem that these ideas in my future will be creating a far better future here on planet Earth, I suppose, because if you commit a crime or if you get involved in a terrorist attack, you most definitely will be caught, go to jail and pay the price, because we most definitely want for people to be good, and with this future intelligence will radically improve the quality of society by removing the want people to commit crimes or terrorist attacks. If they do, they'll get caught for sure. Love always. We are friends. Love always.